I'll never forget the moment I turned on a Willow Lane, fresh from a weekend escape in the mountains, only to slam on my brakes, so hard my tires squealed. There, sprawled across my entire driveway like it owned the place, was a massive U-Haul truck, its garish orange and white logo glinting under the afternoon sun. My heart sank as the car behind me swerved, nearly clipping my bumper. I sat there, jaw dropped, trying to process the absurdity of it all. Who parks a freaking U-Haul in someone else's driveway? Before I could even unbuckle, my neighbor Greg from across the street ambled over, a watering can dangling from his hand. "Hey, UMO VYing out already? You've barely been here 6 months," he called, grinning like this was all a big joke. I shook my head, a sour feeling twisting in my gut as I pulled over to the curb and parked. "Not mine," I muttered, climbing out of my car. That's when I saw her Lisa Harper, the HOA president from hell, striding down the sidewalk like she was leading a parade. Her clipboard was clutched to her chest like a holy relic, and her fake smile didn't even pretend to reach her eyes. "Oh, good, you're back," she said, her voice dripping with that syrupy condescension that made my skin crawl. "I was wondering when you'd show up." I pointed at the truck, my voice tight. "What is this? Why is there a U-Haul blocking my driveway?" Lisa flipped her perfectly styled bob and shrugged, like I'd asked her about the weather. "Well, you weren't using it," she said, as if that explained everything. "You've been gone all weekend, and we needed the space." I stood there, keys in one hand, luggage still stuffed in my trunk, completely floored by her nerve. Little did I know, this was just the opening act of a neighborhood drama that would end in flashing sirens, handcuffs, and a showdown nobody saw coming. When I moved into Meadow Grove 6 months ago, my realtor warned me about the HOA. "They're particular," she'd said, her face scrunching like she'd bitten a lemon. But the house was perfect and the property values were solid, so I figured I'd keep my head down. As a software engineer, I'm either at the office or coding from home, so staying off the HOA's radar seemed doable. Keep the lawn mowed, hide the trash bins, maybe skip the tacky Christmas inflatable CZ enough. What my realtor didn't mention was that Lisa Harper ran the HOA like she was commanding a military dictatorship. Twice a week, she'd march through the neighborhood on what we all called her patrols, clipboard in hand, measuring tape swinging from her wrist, ready to slap citations on anything that offended her delicate sensibilities. Grass half an inch too tall? Citation. Trash can out past 6 p.m.? Citation. Mailbox painted the wrong shade of taupe? Emergency board meeting. I dodge her wrath by quietly following her ridiculous rules. Notes like please trim hedges to ensure uniform curb appeal, or vehicle must be parked precisely centered in driveway, got my eyes rolling, but I complied. Until now, parking a commercial truck in my driveway, that was a line she shouldn't have crossed. "Lisa, you need to move this truck." "Now," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I can't even park my car." She glanced at her clipboard like it held the secrets of the universe. "According to my schedule, we're using it until Saturday," she said coolly. "It's for a community project. The Millers down the street are renovating, and they needed storage space. We all make sacrifices for Meadow Grove." I took a deep breath, my hands clenching. "You can't just take over my property. That's trespassing. Move it, or I'm calling a tow company." Her smile vanished, replaced by a stare cold enough to freeze lava. "I wouldn't do that," she snapped. "As HOA president, I have authority for community improvements. Read your bylaws, Section 4, Paragraph 7. With that, she turned and strutted away, Leah VYing me stranded on the street, locked out of my own damn driveway. By Wednesday, that truck had squatted in my driveway for 4 days. 4 days of parking on the street, trudging through rain with grocery bags, and cursing as delivery drivers skipped my porch because they couldn't get close. Worse, I wonder who had turned the area around the truck into a landfill. Cardboard boxes, packing tape, even some ratty old curtains were piled up like a junkyard. I emailed every HOA board member, but got radio silence. When I cornered board member Mike at the coffee shop, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Look, man, I'm sorry," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder like Lisa might ambush him. "She's got dirt on all of us. She's threatening to fine me thousands over my deck being a few inches too wide." The situation was spiraling, and my driveway had become a neighborhood sideshow. People slowed their cars to gawk, some tossing me pitying looks, others smirking like they were glad Lisa's crosshairs weren't on them for once. Thursday night was the breaking point. My boss, who'd kindly offered to drop off critical documents for a big presentation, gave up after circling for parking. That screw-up put my project and my job in jeopardy. I'd had enough. I ordered a security camera with next-day shipping and installed it Friday morning, aiming it right at the truck. The feed went straight to my phone. At 11:17 a.m., my phone pinged with a motion alert. I nearly spilled my coffee watching the live footage. There was Lisa, in her pristine tennis outfit, unlocking the U-Haul's back door. For 20 minutes, I stared, dumbfounded, as she hauled out string lights, folding tables, serving trays, and what looked like her own patio furniture, carting it all to her house 2 doors down. This wasn't about the Miller's renovation. That truck was Lisa's personal storage unit, parked on my property without so much as a text. That evening, I stormed to Lisa's house, where her backyard was lit up like a magazine shoot, string lights twinkling the same ones from the truck. "Lisa," I called over her perfect picket fence. "We need to talk about the U-Haul." She turned, martini in hand, her face flashing annoyance. "I'm Busa. Some of us have community obligations." I held my ground. "I know what you're using the truck for. I've got video of you pulling party supplies out this morning." For a split second, her composure cracked, but she recovered fast. "So what? The Miller's project wrapped early, so I'm using the space. If you're not using your driveway, the community should benefit." "The community? Or just you?" I shot back. "Move the truck by morning, or I'm calling the cops." She laughed, a sharp grating sound. "Good luck. I have friends on the city council. Now, if you'll excuse me, my guests are here." That night I dug in. I called the city and learned that parking a commercial vehicle on residential property for over 24 hours required a permit. Lisa hadn't filed one. I contacted U-Haul and confirmed the truck was rented in her name 9 days ago. Then I posted a vague question about HOA driveway rules in our neighborhood's private Facebook group. The responses flooded in. Neighbors spilled stories of Lisa's tyranny. A retired lawyer mentioned 3 prior complaints about her abusing her role. A couple shared proof she'd used HOA funds to repave her own driveway, and the former treasurer sent screenshots of shady financial records before he was ousted. I had her. Saturday morning, armed with printouts, rental agreements, and my camera footage, I called the non-emergency police line. This time, I didn't just report trespassing, I mentioned code violations, potential fraud, and misuse of HOA funds. Within an hour, 2 cruisers rolled up. Officer Daniels and her partner poured over my EVY Denke, while Lisa, tipped off by the neighborhood grape VY, and stormed over, still in her brunch apron. "This is a CIVYL matter," she bellowed, her face turning beet red. "The police have no jurisdiction." Officer Daniels didn't blink. "Actually, Ms. Harper, parking a commercial vehicle without a permit VY OLAT city code. Trespassing is our jurisdiction, and these financial records raise questions for the fraud unit." Lisa's charm offensive kicked in. "This is a misunderstanding. I was helping the community. The truck will be gone today, I swear." Daniels wasn't VYing it. "Move it now. Got the keys, or what do we call a tow?" Lisa, muttering about beautifying the neighborhood, fished the keys from her pocket. Daniels handed them to her partner, then turned back. "Based on the EVY Denke and complaints, I'm arresting you for trespassing, unauthorized use of property, and possible fraud." I couldn't believe it. Lisa Harper, in her world's best host apron, was cuffed and marched to the cruiser, her perfect bob now a mess, her voice shrill as she screamed, "I'm the HOA president. You can't do this." Neighbors gathered, some shocked, others barely hiding their grins. The U-Haul was finally driven away, and my driveway was mine again. 3 weeks later, I sat in a courtroom as Lisa faced the judge. The charges had snowballed: trespassing, misappropriation of HOA funds, false financial reports, even theft of community landscaping materials that magically ended up in her yard. "Ms. Harper," the judge said, her voice like steel, "you abused your position of trust. She got 6 months probation, 100 hours of community CRVYC, DULA 12,400 in restitution, and a DULA 3,000 fine. Lisa's face crumbled. Your Honor, I was upholding neighborhood standards, she whined. The judge peered over her glasses. You can uphold standards picking up trash on Highway 16. As Lisa turned, her eyes locked on mine, and for once, she had nothing to say. The neighborhood buzzed for weeks. Some called it justice. Others whispered Lisa got off too easy. But standing in my empty driveway, I felt a weight lift. Nobody's parking anything there without my say-so again. So what do you think? Was Lisa a power-hungry tyrant who deserved worse, or just a control freak who got in over her head? Should I have towed the truck on day one? Or did the slow burn to her arrest make it sweeter? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you felt the drama, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you glued to your screen.